Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time it is for you. I'm Cyclone. It's time for more Let's Play Train Simulator Classic. I decided it was time to go ahead and look at the Midland Main Line by Just Trains. There's one coming out in Train Sim World, now announced. We know a little bit about it, and what I did not look at is the part of the route that's it's going to be doing, but I'll get back to you on that because I forgot to look that up before doing this recording, before starting the game. So I'll figure that out in the future. In the meantime, though, I do want to compare the Train Sim World one, which I am going to take a look at when it comes out, to this one. So yes, Train Sim World is coming, guys. It's going to start probably on the Midland Main Line, or I might go change my mind and go to Cahoon if Midland takes too long. But I want to compare routes that are newer in Train Sim World to the routes I've already done in Train Sim Classic, and eventually introduce some new routes as well. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to take a look at the Midland Main Line at some point when it comes out. For right now, though, we are starting at the Just Trains version, and I have only installed Sheffield to Derby. So you're going to see that the scenarios are all marked SD, as in Sheffield to Derby. Later on, you're going to see some marked, for example, NL for Nottingham to Lincoln. You're going to see probably NM or something like that for the Derwent Valley Line to Matlock, or maybe just Matt. Will be on them. I don't know. We're going to have different abbreviations for each extension as it installs. And the reason they're marked like this is because Just Trains has marked each part of the Midland Main Line for the scenario that uses it, or on the scenario as it uses it. So all these scenarios that you're going to see, they only are marked SD. There's nothing unusual about that. There you go. We're at the bottom of the list. You can see the Just Trains Class 60 is the last train there. You can see 6M83 actually makes multiple appearances as a service here. Actually, I wasn't at the bottom of the list. I got a few more to go. My scrolling just stopped, I guess. So there's a couple using the Voyager as well. Now, something I should point out about all of these scenarios, they all use, in the case of the standard ones, the ones that are not marked default, they all use an ample quantity of DLC. Now notice I have not yet installed the Voyager. Let's click on the Voyager scenarios. You can see that it's currently not showing me that I haven't installed. The load haul, presently not installed. I have to go back and install these. I've installed all the routes. I have not installed all the trains yet. So we are going to be coming back and looking at these scenarios with these routes. But what I want to do today is I want to cover part of, I want in a couple scenarios do a couple of default scenarios, because all I'm doing is comparing the default route with the Midland Main Line. That's all I'm doing. And that's exactly what my plan is here. So we're going to be starting, where was I originally? I was down here on 1F01, I believe, which is also one of the Voyager services in a standard setup. May come back and I may do that scenario, but I'm doing this one because I know we're going to see the Voyager, that exact model again, on a different scenario, a 32-minute scenario, I believe. In fact, there it is right there, the Sheffield to St. Pancras. 1C00 is the other Voyager service. So we're going to be going ahead and doing one of them. And that way, if I don't come back to the other version of this scenario using the Voyager, we're at least going to see this one. But all of the scenarios require different Armstrong Powerhouse DLC, be it a 156, a 158, even a 150. And some of them are as EPs. So in the case of the 156, it is a standard local pack. 158, 150 are EPs. Those are the main ones that are usually used on these scenarios. There may be one or two others, like a 66 EP, for example, which I do have, and I can play that. The 43 EPs, it uses the, I'm sure it uses the main MTU one as well, but it also uses the 185, the VP 185, and the third one, whose name I can't remember off the top of my head right now. But all three of them, I believe, are used. So there are at least 6 different Armstrong Powerhouse DLC that are used on the standard scenarios. The default scenarios only need the Euroloco and Asset Pack. There's nothing fancy with those. Just load up the scenario as long as you have the Euroloco Asset Pack. And these default scenarios actually are ones that come on Steam. So that way there's no extra DLC required. There are 12 default scenarios. There are 16 standard scenarios. And 4 of those standard scenarios are new scenarios to compare to the default ones. They don't have a default form. And you're going to find that those ones are therefore scenarios that we've never seen in default. So they're not going to be on Steam at all. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to load up the first scenario that I've selected of these 28 scenarios, and also some free roams in that as well. So of these 28 scenarios in the standard tab, we're going to go ahead and play 1F01, which is the 717 service, I should say, between Derby and Sheffield. We're going to see the whole route from Derby to Sheffield today. And we're going to go ahead and do a quick introduction to the route map, when we begin this service. I'm not going to introduce you to the high-speed train because we've already seen it. And I don't think I've installed the enhancements for this version of the train as of now, but I may go ahead and do that because now I've noticed that some of the Armstrong DLC actually kind of coexist with each other in the same train folders. I don't know which one is newest, but I was looking at the dummy installs and noticing that, hey, they are actually very similar in the file names. That's not good. So the question is, which one is the one that we're going to want to see in front here? I don't know, but I'll have to figure it out. In any case, so we are going to look at the basic version today anyway, without the enhancement installed. High-speed train FGW White, a 40-minute scenario. Let's get started and let's take a look at this Midland Main Line by first looking at the map. So here we are on the Midland Main Line, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that my first task is on this scenario is going to be stopping at Derby platform and picking up passengers. You can also see the look of the trains is actually different here. We don't have white outlines on the trains in this route. That is different. I'm going to have to look into how that changes with every route because it kind of messes me up every time it changes on the scenario map. But now I know that it does this on the Midland Main Line, and, well, maybe it's just a scenario setting, maybe it's a route setting, I don't know. All I know is I've seen German train outlines on Castle Rock River before. That's all I can tell you. In any case, we are looking at Derby platform. This is the northern terminus of the Midland Main Line. If we want, we are going to be able to head south. So let's zoom out a little bit here. You can see that we can head south. And as we head south, we're going to make our way down. Let me zoom out a little bit here. Oh, actually, no, sorry, I said this is the northern terminus. This is actually the southern terminus. Whoops. It's the southern terminus. So we're going to be heading to the north from here, obviously. I kind of read that wrong, didn't I? We're going to be continuing up the line to the north here. And as we do, we're going to zoom in on our first task, which is up here, stopping at Belper. We're going to continue up to Chesterfield. And you might have already seen a little glimpse of something I'm going to be spoiling on the map in a second here. So continuing from Chesterfield, we're going to head along to Dronfield. You can see lines branching off here and there. So there's Dronfield. We're going to continue to the north. And as we do, we're going to come up here to the very north end of the route, up here somewhere, which is where Sheffield is located. You can see the terminus right there, which is where we're going. Now, if you've seen me going along the map and you pay attention, you notice a couple lines branching off, and I'm going to kind of spoil that right now. Not really spoil because I mean to tell you now. Let's zoom out from Sheffield and take a look at the entire route map. Oh, that's gargantuan. Too big for my screen, obviously. So as you can see, we have the route going all the way over here. Whoops. All the way over here to Manchester. But you're going to note that this is not sceneried in the version of the route that I have right now. And the reason is because I've only installed Sheffield to Derby. The Sheffield to Derby map on the Steam website is just the route I showed you, without any lines branching off. The version of the route installed from the Just Train site is the entire network as it currently exists. So you're going to see everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. This is the Hope Valley line we're looking at right now. There's actually a line that goes down here to Davenport, and we can actually go over here and we can find Stockport, obviously down there as well. If we continue along, we're going to find, what's this? We're going to find New Mills Central. So all of this is made up on the Hope Valley line. It does all exist in the game. And this will hopefully be on Steam at some point. I haven't seen it on Steam yet, but I hope it is. So obviously the route goes from Manchester to Sheffield, which is where we're going to be ending today. We're going to zoom back out a little better here. You can see we head down to the branch here. There's the yard over here, which is the Barrow Hill reception yard. You can see Barrow Hill itself is right there. All the tracks in the building area are there. I have not picked up the Barrow Hill DLC, so I'm not going to be heading in this direction for any scenarios if I can help it. We might have to go to a siding for something, but we're not going to have to go into the Barrow Hill city or building itself, and you're going to notice I have probably not modeled the Barrow Hill section very well, if it even exists on this version of the route. And that is actually a stop signal. The route doesn't actually continue there. So I think that's actually the end of the route. So yeah, all the Barrow Hill signs. This is the Barrow Hill extension. It's the one extension I have not picked up besides Hope Valley, and I'm probably not going to pick it up. The route does not continue beyond here on the DLC as of yet. This goes to, obviously, Barrow Hill further, so I haven't picked that up. So we're going to continue south from Barrow Hill. The Irrawash Valley goes off over here. So that's the Irrawash Valley line that goes through, I can't even read that, Langley Hill or something like that. Sideways, or Langley Mill. I can't handle sideways. Sorry, guys. So it goes through Langley Mill. I believe that's the Irwash Valley line because Derby's all the way over here. So that's the Irwash. There's another connection on the Irwash along this weird line here that takes us over to the Nottingham Derby line. The Nottingham Derby line, by the way, obviously starts from Derby, so I probably should be showing you Derby, which was down here in the south again. There's where Derby is. No, that's Leicester. That's where Leicester is. Leicester. Derby does go down to Leicester through the junction here. And the route there also continues up to Nottingham, which I believe is right here. Yeah, there's Nottingham. So the Irwash is that area between Nottingham and Sheffield, obviously. If you continue from Nottingham, you're going to find the Lincoln route. Here's where the East Coast Main Line crosses at, what is it called again? At Newark Castle. This is where the East Coast Main Line crosses. And you continue north to Lincoln, and that is the eventual terminus of the route. So, again, all of this is stuff on the Just Trains website that you can get for sale on the Just Trains website to extend the Midland Main Line. And if you do that, then you're going to have and you install all the pieces, you're going to have the whole thing done from start to finish. Now, I may go ahead and still get Barrow Hill if I decide it's cheap enough. I avoided the last sale because I had other things to buy, but if it comes down to be cheap enough again, I may just get it anyway because there are some scenarios that go with it, even though I am going to find myself bored to tears doing that section because the doing the shunting work in a station area, like in a track-only area, no real station work, is kind of boring. So I'm not going to want to really do that too much. But, yeah, I may go back and do that at some point. But because I'm going to be going through the DLC in order, you're going to see me installing Matlock next. Then you're going to see... And by the way, I didn't show you Matlock. Matlock is up here. So there's the Matlock route, the Derwent Valley line. So the line to Matlock goes up this branch right here, which we're going to pass by on our journey. Very, very... after the first stop, going to the second stop on our journey, we're going to be going through here. So that's where the Matlock branch is off. So we're going to be seeing that kind of in passing as you go by. We're going to see the Irwash joining in passing and leaving at one point. And the Nottingham Leicester route, I should say, is what we're going to be seeing leaving. So we're going to see all that as we go. But I bet you're kind of bored of me talking about the map. So let's just go back to the game and look at the Derby to Sheffield route as it exists currently. And something I will note as we leave the map is when the new extension comes out that they're working on right now to the Hope Valley, it will be added on to the map. I don't know the exact location, but it will be added on to the map here. And I know it actually goes down to somewhere near the Derby to Sheffield line where that part of the route ends. But it will be added to this map, even if you don't have the route. Again, it's only updated to show all the routes. Each extension adds markers and scenery. The markers, because without those, scenarios don't work. So if you don't have the extension purchased, you're not going to be able to use the scenarios because the markers will not work. You can use them without scenery, the ones that exist, but you're not going to be able to use... everything. Like, you can use a station marker, but you're not going to be able to do much of anything else because other markers, well, some of them are in, but like that one, for example, is in, but some of the scenario markers are not in. You're not going to be able to use scenario markers and start scenarios there and things like that. But you can send AI trains in that direction, and that's fine. So, yeah, you can just do it yourself when you make a scenario. Send a train to Manchester and just let it go. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and look at all those sections in the future. Let's get into our train, and let's start this service today. So here is our Midland Main Line train. We're going to be operating this first express model today. And you can see as we take a look at it that this is, I don't know what train number. It's not showing. Oh, is that it right there? Now I can't tell the train number looking at this, but we'll take a look as we're driving along. In the meantime, this is what we're doing today. And we're going to go ahead and bring up the HUD. We're going to set up the train for departure. That is now set up for departure. I think that's the train next to us that's getting moved. So let's take a quick look at our itinerary. We are leaving Derby at 7:15, or 7:17, sorry. At 7:17 we're leaving Derby. We're going to head to Belper for 7:27. And let's scroll down and do that. We're going to go to Chesterfield, passing the Matlock line at 7:41. We're going to continue to Dronfield at 7:47, and we're going to continue to Sheffield at 8 o'clock. Let's look at our train as we get ready to depart. Back in the cab of the class 166. Eagle Eye viewers may have noticed I didn't do something. What didn't I do? That. Apparently I can't leave it on easily, so there we go. Headlights are now on. And we're waiting to depart. We should have permission shortly. While we're waiting, I want to remind you, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell. You'll know when I post something like this. And I am going to do at least one more scenario in this tomorrow. I'm going to leave Tuesday open for right now because there might be something new coming out in SimRail. I think we're going to get a new station that looks very interesting. So I kind of want to take a look at that. And I'm going to keep that in mind as an option. For right now, though, we're going to go up to 30 miles per hour. Notice that we do not have any career scoring on any of the Midland Main Line scenarios. Those were all on the standard tab, all 28 of those scenarios we saw. So we don't have any career scoring. We just have to play the scenario, be on time. If we're not on time, we're late, we basically lose. So that's how that works. If we get an X on this list, we lose. So leaving Derby, our first stop is Belper. We're going to get up to 30 and 40 and 60. We're going via North Line C, it looks like. We're getting warned of something up ahead. That is a double yellow signal on Line C. So knowing that a double yellow signal is ahead, we're going to take our time here, because I don't want to find myself in a situation where I have to come to a stop at a red, if I can help it. So I'm going to leave it at 40 for right now, just to see what happens. There are going to be trains going by here and there, so we'll leave those a mystery for today. In the future, I'll see if I can bring those up on the enhanced version of the scenario, because we have the same scenarios there, assuming I go back to them. The signal just turned green, so we can actually speed up. We got warned about a double yellow, but it just turned green. Might have been a single yellow. So that means we may be following another train. I may have given it enough time to get ahead. Let's go ahead and get up to line speed and see what happens. We're due a Belper in about 8 minutes from now. One more nice thing about the Midland Main Line scenarios, because they're all non-scoring, they're not career, we can speed. We can do whatever we want to do. If we're late, we can push things to get ourselves there quicker. That is something we are allowed to do. So 110 is now our speed limit. We're going to go ahead and just crank this thing up. We're not going to be able to go 110. I think 90 is our train limit. Whatever it is, we're going to go to it. As it stands, we're going to be a minute early anyway. You might have heard that ding, by the way. We do have green signals now. I don't know what that ding was about the previous one, but this one is for the green signal. Now there is going to be a little bit of lag here and there. This is a fairly high detailed route. I'm running it on medium as it is. So we're going to see a little bit of lag here and there. Not much I can do about it. I have set it so scenery does extend into the distance quite a bit here. So that may be causing some of my lag. I think I'm currently set to arrive at 7:25. I'm actually hitting 95. I'm going to go ahead and cut my speed down there. I'm not sure if 90 or 95 is my train limit, but I'm going to stay within that range. I'm not going to try and push it any faster than that. So we're going to stay in this range. I'm not sure offhand what my limit is. Looked like a camper over there on the left, didn't it? Not sure what that was. We are within 3 miles of Belper. The station we're now passing is Duffield Station. Up ahead is going to be the Milford Tunnel. That was the Milford Tunnel. No, this is the Milford Tunnel, sorry. Belper is now showing up on our HUD at the end of the, I should say on the right side, not the end of anything, but on the right side. So we're going to see it over there now. We're going to prepare to slow down for that. I don't remember what the stopping pattern for this train is. It's been a while since I did the Great Western Main Line. So we're going to be relearning something here about we have the time to use, so I'm going to start about a mile out hitting the brakes and see what happens. 85 is too much, so 65. Okay, we'll stay on 85. No, 57 is what I wanted. So we got an extra boost there. I didn't want to go 85, but we got it. Because I hit 85 axis, I'm going to ease it back a little bit to stop for a moment. We're going to have to relearn this later. This is going okay. A little slower than I wanted to be, but we're going to work with it. Now we're pulling into Belper. Not emergency. Holy cow, that was close. This is a very small platform, so we're probably going to have to... Oh, wow, even at 85% brakes doesn't slow down much, does it? Yeah, we don't fit the entire train here at all, do we? Wow, arrival at Belper. Leaving Belper. Our next stop today is Chesterfield. Chesterfield is a little less than 16.5 miles away. We are going to be due at 7:41. We have 13 minutes to get there, which is plenty of time if we can get up to 90 miles per hour. So we're going to go ahead and try and do that. The castle-like structure in the roadway leaving the line is actually very nice here. This is cool to see. You can see the buildings overlooking the track there. We're going to eventually be crossing the extension to the Derwent Valley Line, which goes through Ambergate, So I'm going to try to point out Ambergate Junction when we see it. I'll see a track going from right to left. And that's right after a siding ends. That is Ambergate Junction. It is still a little ways away. We're not quite there yet. Our speed limit is dropping to 80 miles per hour, so we're going to watch our speed increase, being knowledgeable of that. We are now under the 80 mile per hour restriction. We are going to be released back to a 100 up ahead. Of course, we're going to treat it as a 90 speed limit. I should say more like a 95 speed limit, because we're going to stay in that range. You can see the speed limit further ahead does return to 110. So there's the branch heading off to the Matlock area through the Derwent Valley line. We're now going to continue through the Ambergate North Junction as it used to be. Up ahead here, that no longer exists. So the 80 marks the area where the Matlock route branches off, the Derwent. So the tunnel we saw back there was the Wingfield Tunnel. We're going to be going through the Wingfield area after we take a left here. And then we're going to have a bit of a winding route through Stretton. Now these are areas that are no longer open as stations. We're not going to worry about those areas at all. I'm just pointing out that they exist. The next major landmark I'm worried about is the Clay Cross Tunnel. Well, the Clay Cross Tunnel, sorry, Clay Cross. Now, the reason I'm so interested in the Clay Cross Tunnel is because shortly after that, the Aerowash rejoins, or I should say joins us. And after the Aerowash joins us, we're going to be on the approach to Chesterfield, which is our next stop. Therefore, the Clay Cross Tunnel is an important landmark. Until we get there, let's just enjoy the scenery along this route, and the occasional lag, unfortunately, because of my PC. But let's enjoy the scenery along this route. Apologies if you heard my phone, ladies and gentlemen. My mother just decided to send me a message while I was recording, so I just put the phone out of range of the microphone. Hopefully you won't hear it again. I didn't even hear it because the audio in my ears. Maybe you didn't hear it. I don't know. You can see this stop is going to be a lot tighter, at least it's showing to be right now. We have 7.5 miles to go to Chesterfield, but you can see that we are destined to arrive very, very close to our stop deadline. So I'm going to actually go ahead and punch the speed up to 95, because I must be allowed to do that if I'm being timed for a loss of speed here. So I must be allowed to go 95. So we're going to go ahead and go 95. And we might even be allowed to go 100, I'm not sure. But 95 is a train limit on some trains, therefore I'm not going to push it. My math should be good anyway, because we're going well more than a mile a minute at this point. Here's the Clay Cross Tunnel. You can see the end of the tunnel up ahead here. There's another signal. It's probably going to be green up there. There it is. So the Irrawash Valley Line is going to be rejoining us, or rather joining us, on the right. We're now on the approach to Chesterfield. I hit 96.1 there, so by my rules that's technically speeding. Three minutes and 3 miles to go. We do have a speed reduction in 95 up ahead. That's not going to affect me because I'm limiting myself to 95 anyway. But keep that in mind if you're taking a Voyager out for a cruise. Two miles to go, so within about half a mile we should see the stop appearing on the HUD on the right side. Watch for the green line. There it is. We have a station limit of 90 miles per hour. We're going to be well under it by that point. Very noticeable leg in that area. I'm not going to edit out the leg in general here, guys. I'm going to leave it as it is because it's not bad enough for me to feel like I have to edit it out. So you're going to see exactly what I'm seeing here. If I do get to see a really big leg spike somewhere, I will cut that out, however. So I moved up to an 85% brake to really bring the speed down for our stop at Chesterfield. In fact, I might not be going slow enough. Oh, I might be. I think I'm good. Easing it off a little. You can almost fit the whole thing in here. Arrival at Chesterfield, platform number 1. Leaving Chesterfield, our next stop is Dronfield. That 20 is for the junction. That does not apply to us. We're staying on this line. Our speed limit remains 90 miles per hour. Now there is another line that we are going to pass. That line is going to branch off to the right. It goes to Rotherham Central, which I don't believe is part of this DLC at all. So we're not going to see anything on there yet. Unless the route gets extended that way for whatever reason. But I don't think it's in the plans. We're going to be taking the path to the left to Dronfield. And after Dronfield, we're going to find the junction to the Hope Valley line, where we're going to go off to the right towards Sheffield. That is the itinerary and the plan. Yellow signal on the other line. That's interesting. We are up in mile-a-minute territory now, so we should be able to make our stop without too much issue. We are going to get ourselves up to 90 so we can try to make up some time here, because right now it's going to be very tight. If I go 1.5 miles in a minute, I'd rather do that. The acceleration on this train is slow. Now you might have noticed I said it in the menu at the beginning that I don't have the Voyager currently installed. Let's just remember that I have a old hard drive, which is right here. You might hear me tapping it. That is where my Voyager is installed. So I have to actually reinstall it on this drive because I'm now on a new hard drive. So that's the reason I don't have it installed right now. Otherwise, I might have done a Voyager scenario today. I might have been tempted to do that. But I also need to install the Armstrong Powerhouse 43s anyway. For some reason, I thought I did that, and I never did. Rather, I thought I did that for some reason, I never did. So I'm going to... I might download the newer, the most up-to-date version, and then just change the scenarios out because I don't have the weather pack for its enhancements. So, yeah, I'll do what I have to do here. But I will be installing the other 43 packs. I'm going to make sure everything else is installed. I believe it is. And then we should be good to do these standard scenarios on a future visit to this route. But keep in mind, next time we are going to do another default scenario. Oh, we're racing the vehicles. Who's going to win? They are, because we have to stop. I did not mean to go to 100, but I'm going to have to because I'm not going to make... I'm going to make it to the end of the platform before I can stop. It's not actually an emergency brake, even though it sounds like it. Just a notch more. Nope, it's not going to go anymore. Okay. Arrival at Dronfield platform number 2. Leaving Dronfield, our next and final stop today is Sheffield. We are due at 8 o'clock. We only have 7 miles to go. We're due at 8 o'clock. So this makes me think that there is something going on the lineup ahead. Because we got 12 minutes to do this. Either that or we have to go very slow. I'm not sure which it is. I don't imagine it's the case going very slow. I'm sure you can go 60 for most of the lines, so we must have red signals up ahead. I'm sure it's 40 as you get near Sheffield. Again, this is my first time here, and I haven't really paid attention to speed limits when seeing other people drive, so I actually don't know. I'm going to learn this here, what the speed limit is at Sheffield, because this is the route terminus. Might be 30 like at Derby. Pardon me, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, the 70 is coming up straight ahead here. This tunnel is the Bradway Tunnel. As we exit the tunnel, we're going to pass Dore and Totley. I've gone ahead and idled the throttle because we do have a downhill that we're now on, a 1 in 97. We're going to have to hit the brakes on this downhill. So I'm going to try to hold our speed in the 70 range because this is a good practice zone, so to speak, because we want to hold our speed in the range of 70 miles per hour. We do have a 90 straight ahead again, but we're going to keep an eye out for any adverse signals that may impact our ability to continue. There's the line, the Hope Valley line. And there's the incoming connection to the Hope Valley line. That station you saw was the Dore and Totley station, and I pushed the brakes, it didn't take. So yeah, apparently I sped for a second there, but not for very long. We are entering a 90 once again, so this will be perfectly fine in a moment. I may not have to increase speed again, though, very much, because we are going to be... we are halfway along the part of our journey that we have at the end here, and we're just entering the 90 again. Well, we've been in the 90 again, apparently, but I think another sign just told us about it. So, yeah, I'm watching for signals up ahead. I really am. I'm just going to let the speed do its own thing now. Because as it stands, we're super early, and even that's even going at slow speeds, apparently, because we're showing as being super early on the ETA. There we go, we got a 40 up ahead. That's going to slow us down a little bit. I was unexpectedly spot on that station limit call of 40. Brake didn't take there as I went through a little leggy patch there, so brakes are applied now. I'm going to start bringing the speed down easily down to 40. We are getting a signal. That is a double yellow signal. We're going to keep an eye on the signals before Sheffield, because there is a red signal currently 1 1/4 miles away from us. We're getting a warning for the 40 mile per hour speed limit. I'm going to actually apply a stronger brake because I think we're going to need it here. Not for the 40, but for the our access to the platform. I thought that was water for a second. No, we just got a blue bridge here. Don't know the name of it offhand. So this should be a single yellow at worst. Now it's a green. There we go. We're going to have to go down to 15 by the station. That's probably why we're timed for 8 o'clock. Because without that 15, we could easily be there in a couple minutes earlier. We're now in the 40 mile per hour section. We're going to be taking the Sheffield down passenger loop in about a mile, which may not mean anything beyond just staying on the track we're on, but it's just a routing mechanism. Make sure we stay on this track. I'm going to start bringing the speed down for the 15 up ahead. We're being given shunt signal here. That looked like a red, but we did have the shunt signal on. So it's basically routing us off this line onto a different line, apparently, or it's just allowing us in. If you request to pass a signal, that white light can come on to show that you have permission to go past. That way, any situation in a scenario where the game would end passing a red would not take effect. So I think we're taking the line going to the right here if we're getting that shunt signal. Yes, we are. Now, since we had a red with the shunt, we don't know offhand yet what the next signal is going to be. It is a shunt signal. So that's technically a green. The two white lights. Of course, if you assume line speed is 15, you could say that's a green, but it's two white lights. We're pulling now into Sheffield Platform 8, and if you cannot make this stop within the platform boundaries, I can't help you. There's all sorts of things I can help with, but if you can't make a stop in the area of a barn, so you see the line limit up ahead. The route does actually end up there. The DLC route, that is, does end. It's not the end of the line itself. The line does continue. We can now stop anytime. I'm going to go ahead and pull up a bit because I can. The route does eventually continue to Swinton. And there is a branch after Swinton where you can go to a couple different places. So there are places you can go beyond Sheffield that are not in this DLC. One of them is Doncaster. Another one is Leeds. Whether we're going to actually see them on this line, I do not know. But I know that the Leeds to Doncaster section already exists on Alan Thompson Sim. So the odds of that one being produced here, in my opinion, are low. Even though it would complete the network. Literally. Anyway, arrival at Sheffield. We're going to put a stronger brake on. And that's the end of our journey. Let's take a look at our train. So here we look from up above at the glorious Sheffield station. You can actually see the tram line has been produced here. The tram line actually takes you through the Sheffield station, Sheffield Hallam University. So there's actually a university in this area. That might be it right there, actually, that we're looking at on the right. I don't know, the top right. That could be the university. In fact, looking at my map, I might be able to give you an answer on that in a second. No, I can't because this one doesn't really tell me. But in any case, yeah, this is Sheffield. This is the terminus of the Midland Main Line on Steam and on the Just Train site right now, even with all the extensions. And we're going to go ahead and do a return trip of some form, heading back towards Derby. On the next scenario, we're going to stay with default stereos for now, but at some point I'm going to come back and we're going to be playing all the Armstrong trains on here as well. So keep an eye out for that. It will be glorious. For now, we're going to wait for our scenario completion. Because there's no scoring screen, I'm just going to say have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Make sure to like the video, make sure you do subscribe to the channel, and do stay tuned for that next scenario. And I didn't notice the scenario completion message in the corner, so we ended up back here on the results screen anyway, so you get to see my speeding penalty. Yay! But you can also see the scenario was completed successfully, so I'm going to get my check mark. See you next time. I'm Cyclone. Have a wonderful day, evening, or night. Bye-bye.